Hey, happy Friday. Welcome to Recognize Maine right here on RecognizeRap.com. Brand new web series we doing every Friday featuring exclusive interviews with up-and-coming artists and producers from across the state, as well as talking about up-and-coming events, breaking down the latest concerts, all that stuff right here every Friday on RecognizeRap.com. It's Recognize Maine. Before we get going on today's episode, I gotta salute Nat the Genius for supplying that intro music you all just heard. Twitter.com/Nat the Genius. Today's episode, so much to get to. Drippy, he's a 15-year-old phenom representing Portland. I talked to him about what are some of the advantages about being so young, and also what are some of the challenges about coming up from Maine. Is it hard to promote your music out here? That answer's coming up later on in this episode. Before then, I speak to King Prez, who currently is down in Miami, Florida, making connections and building relationships. Prez is a 19-year-old music producer out of Cumberland, Maine. That interview is coming up shortly as well. But first, we gotta talk about Desiigner getting his chain snatched right from his neck. It happened Tuesday night, February 13th at the State Theater in Portland, Maine. Desiigner was performing with Steve Aoki, and during Designer's set, he started the crowd surf, and all of a sudden his chain just gets snatched from his neck. I wasn't too close to the stage, so I didn't have a real good look at what happened. I was, further back. I was at the concert with my girlfriend Dorcas, my buddy Guy. We were kind of, in the mix away from the stage, so we didn't get too good of a look at what happened. But next thing you know, Desiigner pops up on stage, the lights come on, his whole entourage comes out, and he's like, hey, who took my chain? I'm not going to continue my performance until I get it back. Who has it? Give me my chain back. All that. And next thing you know, there was like 90 seconds. It was like a search for Designer's chain. A lot of confusion going on. Like I said, I didn't know who had it. And that was, how it was for most of the people. Nobody knew what happened exactly. And after about 90 seconds or so, Desiigner was like, forget it. I'm still going to continue my performance. I'll finish my set. So that was good to see that everyone still got their money's worth and that things kind of ended on a happy note. It could have been a lot worse, but it's just real unfortunate that it happened. I mean, you don't tend to think those sort of things can happen in Maine, somebody getting their chain snatched, but hey, it happened, and I think just moving forward, we got to do a better job collectively. And now let's get to this King Prez interview here on Recognize Maine. Again, Prez is a music producer representing Cumberland, Maine. Right now, he's down in Miami, Florida, making connections. I asked him what he's up to down there.
In Tampa, I've just been creating a name for myself. Miami, whatever studio I go to, I just work, bro. Bring up the laptop, just play my shit. People got an ear for it, so that's what I've been doing, just going from place to place, trying to take over each city, you feel me?
And as far as the differences between Maine and Florida, obviously the weather's way warmer down there, but in terms of the rap scene, Maine, we got an up-and-coming rap scene, but Florida, that's the main spot right now where it's all the guys are coming out of, all the young guys are coming out of Florida. So I asked Prez, what's the main difference between, Cumberland, Maine, and down in Florida?
It's a whole difference, bro. Like, I got a whole new motivation coming out here because it's people who challenge me to work all the time, you feel me? And, like, I was never getting booked in Maine for sessions for money and all that. Like, out here, it's different, bro. Like, people like recognize that I got a talent here, and like, I'm not saying Maine isn't for that, but like, it's good to get out and go different places and make your face recognized by different people, because it's only connections, more connections.
And they say it's not what you know, but it's who you know. So salute the Prez down there, building relationships, and it's definitely gonna benefit him in the long term. Now that he's, been networking, got all these new contacts and whatnot. So, hey, he's doing the right thing for sure. And one thing you may not know about Prez is that he's produced on Soulja Boy's albums in the past few years, including Soulja Boy's most recent project, King Soulja 8. King Prez, he's got a track on there Bust Down, co-produced by Nat the Genius, and Prez, he's also produced some of Soulja's most popular tracks over the past few years, including New Designer and Real One featuring Mango Fu. And what's surprising, though, is that Soulja Boy has yet to pay King Prez for these beats. I mean, these songs are on iTunes, they're on streaming services. However, Prez still has not been paid for these songs. And, hey, he talks about that right here.
New Designer, that shit's about to hit $1 million, bro. Like, 990K almost. And me or Nat hasn't seen a check from it. And same with Real Ones, like Real Ones with Mango Fu. I got credit on that and everything, so that was cool, but it's just a check, bro. Like, now that I'm out here really trying to make this my career.
You would think that Soulja Boy, with all the money that he's got and all the wealth that he's accumulated over the years, that, you know, he would pay his producers, but apparently that's not the case. It might just be a miscommunication. Prez, he told me that he's spoken several times on the phone with Soulja Boy before, and, you know, they're good friends and whatnot, so hopefully it's just miscommunication and they can sort that out. But Prez, you definitely deserve that money, and hopefully you get that soon. Before we get into this Drippy interview on Recognized Maine, we got a brand new unreleased snippet from Ammo that's produced by King Prez. Ammo, by the way, he's a local artist from Maine as well. Definitely on the come up. And this one here, like I said, is unreleased, is super fire. Let's get straight to it. King Prez, Ammo, it's Recognized Maine. Let's go.
Multi-million-dollar nigga, I'm trying to go be that man. All these niggas and these bitches, I swear they won't understand how I turn up in my city, then move it out to Atlanta. I got a lot of sauce, so please do not mind my manners. I really go in way and move out. And I bet like on the wave, so they know what I'm about, man. I really go in, man, and move out. And I got like all the sauce, so I had to head the south way, nigga. No, all me, man. I swear it's all me. Got my motherfucking nigga Prez all up on the beat.
Hey, that one's coming soon. I wish I could play the whole song for you guys, but it's not out yet. You just got to be patient. Again, that's local artist Ammo, produced by King Prez. Hey, Maine's doing big things. Salute. And up next, we got that exclusive interview with Drippy, the 15-year-old phenom representing Portland, Maine. Like I said, I teased it a little bit at the beginning of the episode. Now we're going to get into it. I asked him, what are some of the advantages of being so young? You know, 15 years old. A lot of these guys are in their early 20s. They've been rapping for a few years. But you, just 15 years old, you know, how's that worked in your favor so far?
Being a youngin' and doing all of this stuff, I feel like I get a good head start from, like, everyone that's, like, 20, 25. Like, and, like, more I can relate to the youth than those 20-year-old people. And, like, I get to get their attention and whatnot.
Drippy, he mentioned his head start. He's actually been rapping since the age of 12. However, he just started to take it seriously in the past 3-4 months. So, hey, he's on to something, and look out for Drippy. And originally, he's from Connecticut, but he relocated to Maine with his family. I asked him, what are some of the challenges of being an artist from Maine? Is it hard to, you know, promote your music up here where there's not as much of a hip-hop scene or not?
It's hard to get your name out there, especially being in a state that people barely know. If I'm being honest with you, when I didn't even know what Maine was when I moved up here. I was like, what the fuck is Maine? And, you know, just being an artist from Maine is just kind of hard, but either way, it's shit. Everyone's gonna be like, he from Maine and he made it out of fucking Maine. Like, that's what, like, Maine is like, I think Maine is like one of the whitest states ever. So, like, for me to, like, if I made it out of Maine, which I know I will, that'd be pretty impressive.
Hey, anything is possible. I mean, Maine's not typically known for its rap scene, but we're on the come up for sure. We got a lot of young guys with a lot of talent here in Maine, so anything is possible, like I said. And Drippy, you got that self-confidence, which is very important, and that's going to take you a long way. So, hey, just keep grinding, and we'll see what happens over the next few years. And before we get into Drippy's new single called Best Friend, I asked him what the concept behind this one was, and he said, well, you know, I just wanted a track that me and my friends could ride to, and also a track for the ladies, because, you know, ladies like the songs about best friends and whatnot. So this one is Drippy, Best Friend, right here on Recognized Maine. Let's go.
My best friend, yeah, that's my best friend, yeah. my shorty, that's my best friend. Yeah, my Gotti walk that Rari, that's my best friend. Yeah, can't stop me, trust no thotty, but my best friend. Yeah, my best friend. Yeah, my best friend. Yeah, my homie, that's my shorty, that's my best friend. Yeah, pulled up in the Gotti, that's my best friend. Yeah, black and white diamonds, yeah, my best friend. Yeah, push goes the start. Yeah, we drive foreign cars. Yeah, shining like a star. Yeah, you know who we are.
Hey, that one you can listen to the full track on SoundCloud. It's Drippy, Best Friend. And that's a wrap for this episode of Recognize Maine. If you missed last week's episode featuring Keisha Wazo and J-Star Hefner, I interviewed them, so make sure to check out that one. I'll put the link in the description of this video. And hey, I just want everyone to enjoy their weekend, and leave a comment below who you want to see on next week's episode featured right here on Recognize Maine. I'm out. Peace.